everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Debbie. This is my Crafty Den, and I just thought I would work in my journal today. I just wanted to do something and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, so I think I'm going to go into this traveler's notebook. This is a standard sized traveler's notebook. This one is from, I think it's Cheshire Dreams in Ontario, Canada. I will link it down below if I can find it. I think that's the name of it. I got this quite a long time ago, but I just love this. Drink coffee and pretend you know what you're doing. Yes, that's me every day. But in here, I have a couple of things. I have my regular journal, the one that I just write a lot in. And I also have at the back here, this journal that I've been working on. Now, of course, all of these are just standard size notebook inserts. So with this one, I believe I showed this page. I haven't done anything in here for a while. This was done in February. So what I'm going to do with this page is a kind of a coastal beachy, I'd rather be at the beach type of napkin collage. I have this pretty beachy coastal cottage napkin that is pretty, but I also have this one that has these seashell prints and things on it. So what I'm going to do is take 2 pieces of paper just from a notebook. I just ripped 2 pages of this off. I'm going to put a page behind here. Let's move this up the top so I have a little bit more room, and a piece behind here. Now that will semi-protect the rest of my book. I know it still goes through a little bit, but what can you do? I do a lot of sloppy, messy stuff in here. I think I just want to put a layer of modeling paste on here to start with, to give my page a little bit of texture. So I'm just going to grab a little spatula, take some modeling paste, and I'm not going to smooth it. I'm not going to put it everywhere, and I'm not going to smooth it out. I'm just going to kind of I just want to give this a bunch of texture. And I know I'll have to let this sit for 10 or 15 minutes to dry, but that's okay. Whoops, I'm dragging my whole book. And by just tapping my spatula down into it and lifting up, I'm kind of giving that, I'm going to spread this out a little bit more and do that again. It's kind of a stucco look. Let's take a little bit out to the edge. It doesn't need to be really thick. I'm just looking for some texture. There, and I'm going to let this dry. Now, I don't know if you guys are like me or not, but I have chores to do through the day. So a project like this is great. I don't need to even get my heat gun out because I can just let this dry when I go fold a load of laundry. So that gives me about 15-20 minutes to fold a load of laundry and put it away, and I can come back and carry on. So I think this is dry enough. It feels a little bit damp to the touch, but nothing moves when I touch it with my fingers. So I think that's good enough. And I've taken this napkin, this beach theme napkin, and I've ripped off, I've gone as high as I could in the sky. And I've ripped off the upside down part of the house because that's on the other half of the napkin. And then I'm going to separate the layers on this. And I can set that aside. I can use that for texture on a different project. And there. Now, I don't know what I want. Do I just want part of the cottage and the beachy theme part here, or do I want to put more of the cottage? I think I want to put it kind of like this because I'm going to paint over this anyway and redo a little bit of the sky. I'm going to try to start with this as a base and try to paint a picture. Or do I want to? I love this little cottage. Just love it. So I think I'm going to go like this. I'm just going to do it like this. Maybe I'll bring it right down because it'll be easier for me to touch that up. There, like that. So I am going to put this down with a really soft brush. Let me see, because this is from the dollar store. It was in a little package, but these bristles are so soft. So I am going to use the Napkin Decoupage from Deco Art. This is a glue sealer finish, the same as Mod Podge is. You could even use school glue, just a white Elmer's school glue, any cheap PVA glue watered down would work for this because it's just in a journal. It's not going to be a displayed piece of art or anything like that. But I'm going to put enough on here that this doesn't tear because I'm going over all these bumps. So I have to keep this really wet. And this glue is watery enough that I don't have to put it on my page first. I can just put my napkin down and go right over top of it, and it'll glue this down. So just very gently. As soon as you feel any drag on your paintbrush, that's when you want to add a little bit more glue to your paintbrush because that's when you're going to tear your napkin. If you're just gliding over the top of it, and you can't feel any drag on your napkin, then you're not going to tear it. There's so much texture on this. It's licking. I can see it kind of from the side, and I can see all this texture. You can see where the glue is pulling up in between the little bumps. I love that. I love it. There, no air bubbles. Make sure everything is down. And this should only take a couple minutes to dry. It looks really wet, but this glue is really thin, like I said. If you're using Mod Podge like this, I think I would even water it down a little bit. This Napkin Decoupage is actually a little thinner even than regular Mod Podge. I just got this off of Amazon, guys. I got it quite some time ago, and I've used it for a lot of projects. I don't use it for everything. Normally in my journal, I usually use this for craft projects because normally in my journal, I would just use a PVA glue or Mod Podge, but I'm running low on Mod Podge right now. I need to get a little more. So I'm going to let this dry. I may actually even throw a blow dryer on this for a minute. So I'm going to play with a little bit of paint. I'm just using dollar store acrylic paints. I've got a few colors out. I got this color that is sky blue, and I'm thinking that it really mimics the color of the sky here. So I'm going to start up there and see if I can fix that a bit. So I have this little glass plate that I'm going to use for a palette, and I'm just going to put just a tiny bit of this blue paint down here. I don't think I have to mix it with anything because I think that's a really good color. But what I'm going to look for is a stiff, just a big stiff paintbrush. And I'm going to put that in there like that. I don't want brush strokes, so I'm just going to put this on all of that texture. And where that yellow bled through from the other page, I'm going to blend this right down. So I'm going to repaint the sky basically. So I just realized that I have no white paint. What I have is this warm white, which is a very soft cream color. And there's not much of it left either. White and this cream are really popular colors for me, I think. So I am going to add just a drop of this, like that, to that blue. I'm just going to add it right in to the blue. A little bit on there. That's pretty thick. That's getting to the end of that bottle. And when that happens, this is what I do. Add a little bit of water, just a little squirt from my spray bottle. There, thin that down just a little bit. And using this same brush, I am going to make these clouds in this sky. So that piece of tissue that I took off and I was going to put it over there for texture on another project, I'm just going to ball that up and take a little bit of this back off again so that I get that look right there. I wasn't sure if that was going to work or not. Sometimes things I do don't work. But I think that's good. That gives it kind of that impression that there's these ongoing clouds that are just barely there. So I'm liking that. So I also have this napkin here. I'm going to just rip this napkin apart. One is these seashells that are down here. I really like this. I really like that. I wonder if I can cut this seashell out. Napkins are hard to cut out. All I want is that one layer. I just kind of want to add this little seashell down in here, maybe tucked up in by this post here, maybe. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. With a little tiny bit of decoupage. Where do I want to put it? I want to put it right down in here. I never do this, guys. I always take the background off the napkin, but I think I'm gonna leave some background on this napkin. One layer of it and glue them both down together. Because if I don't, I'm gonna lose this napkin in the background. I'm gonna lose that napkin into its background, and I think both those layers will glue down, and especially because they're going to be in, it's not really making that much of a difference, is it? Do I want to move it? I don't think it made that much of a difference, but I like it there anyway. I'm going to keep it there. I am going to try, so I have these posts. I'm going to try to cut these out with as little background as possible. And I'm going to take the backing off in this case. And the reason I want that off this time, I needed it there for that shell to show up a little bit more. But I want these posts to be like peeking out behind. I don't even want them all. So maybe just that much of them. I want them to be coming out behind this cottage here. There. I have no idea what I'm doing, guys. I'm just trying to put little nautical features in this. I think I better not stick any more down, or I might actually ruin what I have. But I do want some little birds in the sky. What can I do to put little birds in the sky? There were birds on the piece that I cut off. Does that look like a little bird to anybody? That's better. Just like a little M kind of looks more like a bird, doesn't it? I can't draw, guys. There, that'll have to do. I just wanted that kind of illusion that there are some birds there. But it is what it is. So I just do what I can do. If I did them a little bit darker, maybe. So then what I wanted to do down at the front here, and I don't know if it's going to work or not, this sand is really white, but it isn't something that I have anywhere around me. And this paint here is called, I'm just giving it a good shake because I haven't used it for a really long time. And it's called Spun Gold. And I'm going to put it right there. Just a dabble of it. I'm going to take this soft paintbrush and dip it in the tan and the gold mixed together so that I get a little bit more subtle look. I'm going to take a piece of this napkin now that is trash, that piece that I used, and I put it down and it stuck to the other napkin. So now that's not going to be salvageable, I don't think. But I'm going to kind of dry this off of here. It's a soft brush, but it's a dry brush. And I am going to just dab very lightly down in this sand where all this white sand is, because it's just not something that, I mean, I'm not used to white sand, and we don't have this white sand here. I'm in New Brunswick, and what we have here is more of a, it's hard to explain, all different types of rock, much rockier beaches, not a lot of sand beaches happening here. So just by doing this, and it kind of gives it that translucent look because that spun gold paint is kind of that translucent color as well. So that's what I'm hoping that I can do, is kind of make this look more like one of our beaches than a, where do they have these white beaches? I don't even know. That spun gold is really translucent. So by putting a little bit of the tan color in with it, that's where I'm getting the color from, because I'm definitely not getting the color from the gold. It's barely there. I'm being very quiet as I'm doing this. Yeah, but there's so much texture in here too, that even with this little bit of paint, that when I'm dragging it across the page, I leave more paint in one spot than I do in another, which kind of gives it that sand look as well. That's what I was kind of hoping for with the sky and the sand. was that the texture would help, because I can't paint. It's just not something that I can do. I wish I could. You can tell by this that I can't. So if you watch, there's a YouTuber, and she's here in Canada. Her name is Karen Birchall, and she has a channel. She goes by Creative Katie, if anybody's watched her. And she does, she's actually an artist though, and she does gazillions, just so many of these beautiful pages and art pieces that are napkin based, where she uses a napkin and then does this beautiful piece around the napkin, which is kind of what I'm trying to do. But she has such an artistic eye, and she's so talented. So if you like that type of thing, go watch her channel, because she is just amazing. So I've decided to add another little bit to this. I have this leaf green acrylic paint. I can't hardly see this grass down here anymore. And I'm wondering if I can fix that a little bit. I'm just going to go with this and a little bit of this leaf green paint. Don't know if it'll work or not. I'm always ready to try something new, but what if I do it up? So I've kind of just got a bunch of green there. This, but I'm thinking that if I put the green and then I dry it, just in the kind of put the green in the shape that I want. And then I dry it and then go back over it with black too. I need to be going that way. Then I can add kind of that grass-like look where I want it. I think I want this to be a bit bigger. That looks funny now. I'm hoping I can fix that. Maybe a little bit of green-ish in here. There. Now I'm going to throw a little bit of my dryer onto this for just a second. And I have this fine tipped marker. So So I know that isn't right, but it kind of gives the illusion of what I was looking for. Like these are more like little bushes now instead of grass. So anyway, I am going to write on this, and I'm going to write with this. So I need to find something to write down. Okay, so this is how it finished out. So I just took my Staedtler Tri-Plus fine liner and I put some little highlights down this little birch fence, some little black highlights because it was kind of washed out in the whole look. And I also did a little bit of black in these birds so that they would stand out a tiny bit more. And then I took what little bit of brown paint was left on my paintbrush and put this little driftwood arrow here. It was there, but it was faded away with this sand color so bad that you couldn't see it. And with these little kind of grasses or shrubberies or whatever these are down here, I really like the way that it turned out. It kind of gives the feel a little bit more of one of our northern beaches, but with that southern beachy cottage feel. And I put, give me coffee to change the things I can, and the beach to accept the things that I can't. So I like the way that it turned out, and I had fun doing it. I think it turned out okay. I have so much fun using napkins, and there's so many different ones. Now this particular one, I can't remember where I got it, but I'm still going to link Ninny's napkins down in the description box because she has so many amazing napkins and you can buy them at a reasonable price without buying a whole package. You can choose to get just 2 napkins of each print that you like for a couple dollars, and you can build a huge stash that way. I do have an affiliate link that I'm putting in the description box. So if you go through my link, when you go to her site to order napkins, you get a discount on your first order. And I get a little bit of a commission. I don't get any cash for it, but I do get a little bit of credit, which helps me buy more napkins and do more pieces like this. So I'm going to end this video here. I really do hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that already. And I'll see everybody in the next video. Bye-bye for now, everyone.